You're listening to Court Reserve Unscripted with me, Ashley Owens.
Okay, I'm talking.
Yep.
Okay. Here.
Fantastic.
Um, nope, now I can't. Okay. That's out.
All right.
Yeah.
No microphone for you, my friend.
No, sir. All right. Apparently not needed.
All
And
right. We'll
yeah,
cut we'll cut the first part out.
okay, good. Yeah, is this recording right now? Oh
It
boy.
is.
All right. All right. Well,
Oh my gosh.
good.
Chris, how are you? Nice to see you.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a new year and lots of fun stuff happening. What's happening with you these days?
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind on my side. When we operate, putting pros out into clinics and clubs across the country, facilities, conferences, anywhere a potential pickleball professional is needed for talent purposes, for appearance purposes, we place them in those spots. Um, Waiting on the PPA schedules, MLP schedules, and PPA Asia schedules now that our players are traveling overseas to play fairly regularly. That meant I didn't know when I could even book some things until maybe 2 days before Christmas break started.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, and that's to try and fit things in January and February. So um, that was a mad dash. Then I drove 12 hours each way with two toddlers in the car for Christmas. So that was
That
less
was the harder
stressful.
part.
Yeah, no, we can debate on which one's more stressful or not. And then, but yeah, we've gotten some good movement. There's a lot of good traction. The clubs, once they hear about us and hear about our product and our program of trying to bring, these pros closer to the players and on the court with the players as much as possible, they're in and they find the value in promoting their brand and all of that, and then creating cool experiences for their players.
So that's really the draw, is because the players in the pickleball space, from my own opinion, they're a little more accessible if you think about it, because a lot, I believe, of the professional or on tour players, they came from playing at the club and then just rising up so quickly. And so they're like me and you. Now,
Yeah.
they are not like me and you in that they are professional players, but
Right.
like they came from a background of like the Susie Anderson, who was just a great like stay-at-home mom and then just decided she was a pro and now she's an academy director, right?
Yeah.
So tell me some of your favorite stories about some of those players that you're working with right now.
Yeah. I mean, Zay Nevertil, for one, he's my business partner and an overall good guy. I think he's the mayor of pickleball, in my opinion. He may not podium every weekend, and don't tell him I said that, but um, I think he speaks from a real big picture perspective. And yeah, one of those conversations with Zane early on, I put him up for a job and he gave me a quote for his price, and at one point came in a little bit shorter than other players. They were going for the bucks, the
Mm.
big bucks, and he was a little bit off pace. And our client actually chose the more expensive options, going with the I assume this will value, more expensive equals more value. In that case, it may or may not have been the right decision, but when I pulled Zane aside later, I just said to him, I said, hey, I put you up for a gig here. Wanted to tell you, businessman to businessman, you cut yourself out of the conversation by charging too little. And he looked at me dead in the eye and just said, I don't charge what I think I can get. I charge what I think something's worth.
Mm.
And in 2025, at the time when I was told this, like, who talks like that?
All right.
Not many people. So I think that's the good Midwestern guy that he is. And like you said, kind of an everyman. There are players out there on the PPA tour, on the MLP circuit, when they're going from their practice court to their match court, you shouldn't bother them, right? And then they're athletes. And ultimately we shouldn't in that moment. I think if we held back and just let these people do what they do, hit this amazing plastic ball better than we do. Um, you know, they want to be focused and they're first and foremost, they're professional athletes. But a large majority of these players still take time to stop and talk to fans and sign an autograph or take a quick picture. And like you said about accessibility, I think we're in a peak window of pickleball on the rise. While professional pickleball isn't viewed by all the players, I completely understand that, but it's on the rise. It's on TV more. It's getting more viewership. We can see the PPA, MLP, APP growing. Um, these players still will sit and talk to us and
Mhm.
still will be, they know, because we all have passion for this silly game, that it's kind of like we're all one of us together. And then other players, like I said, just take a real sharp focus and don't talk to me. I'm going to my court. I'm here to win. That's awesome too, right? We need that competitive spirit and that competitive edge in our professional ranks. But with Zane, he'll stop and talk to anyone, anywhere, and just likes talking to people. When we put him in these clinics across the country and put all of our other pros out there, Andre, Gabe, Jesse, Rachel Rohrbacher, we've got some big names, Mari Humberg. We put them on the court, and they really invest in the players at the time, right? Because yeah, I want to come learn new skills. We can learn new skills from other coaches in our area that may be less expensive, right? I've heard that before. Um, but playing with these pros that have gotten to this level while still treating us like human beings is a wild experience that
Mm.
that may go away in a year or two or three, unfortunately for me and my business. But that may be the case.
I remember it's been years ago when CourtReserve, I can't remember exactly when, but my husband had recently picked up a pickleball paddle and dropped his tennis racket. And one of our pickleball clubs, pickleballers in up in Virginia, Beverly and her team up there, they had a day with the Johns brothers and Jarrett Trico.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Jarrett was known as the guy who taught pickleball on clay at the club. And so I surprised him like for his birthday or something. And I paid for us to go up there and be a part of that clinic. And this was pre like John's brothers like taking over the world and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And it was just such a great day to spend time with people who were at a level we're never going to get to as players, right? As club players.
Yep.
But that they took the time to come on the court and be so kind and really help us. And Jarrett and I have been friends since that day, right? Now, me and
Yeah.
the Johns brothers, not so much, just because our, paths don't cross as much. But like it was an experience. And
Yeah.
how do you sell a club on the experience instead of just, hey, you need to do this and bring a pro in? What does that experience sell look like for you?
Yeah. I show them a short video clip. I show them my first clinic here in Omaha. I live in Omaha, Nebraska. PPA players, UPA players, APP don't really come through here regularly, right? We don't have tour stops. So I thought I contacted Zane. That's how this all started, and just said, "Hey, can I get you to Omaha? How do we work that out?" Built an event. We launched it 3 days after a club opened. So I was sweating that opening date. The club wasn't even assured to be open until the day of. They did open. So a few days later, when I had the clinic, it was a good way to get all these players onto the court for the first time, to try and do something special. But at the end of the event, we did return Zane's chainsaw serve. And if you remember that from years ago, Zane has a serve where he imparts so much spin on the ball out of the air that he can tell you where it's going to land, where it's going to go, and we still won't be able to return it. He'll even like straight up told this lady who participated, everybody lined up to return a serve at the end of the clinic, and people are nervous. You're in front of other people. You don't want to look silly. And he makes you look silly. That's the purpose of the experience, right? You look like a baby deer learning to walk. But then when a player gets a return in, not even a pretty return, just loop that thing high in the air and have it land on the court, the crowd goes nuts, right? Because they're all laughing, all screaming. So if I show them that 30-second clip of somebody completely missing on their return, but then getting one in and just go, arms up like they won something, that is a moment that I don't think people will forget too often.
That is a cool story. I
Yeah.
think as adults, there's not a lot of those hand raising
Yeah.
cheers anymore. And pickleball has really brought that to so many people because a lot of people were never athletes as kids. They were never athletes as young adults. And here they are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s picking up a sport. That's why they're so emotional about it. And they
Yeah.
spend so many hours on the court. I know here in St. Augustine, Florida, this is where we have our club, Old Coast Pickleball. And we've had some conversations with people because they're so passionate about the sport and what they're
Yeah.
doing, and it means so much to them. So when you go into a club and you take this idea of putting on an event, What could that look like, Chris? Could it look
Yeah.
like a couple hours? Could it look like multi-day? Is it just
Yeah.
a round robin? Is it a teaching? What can it look like?
Oh, I mean, the opportunities are honestly endless. I feel like we come up with a new, unique option to supply to these clubs almost weekly, and that's in the collaboration of the calls. The good and bad of this business is that I need to be on the phone call with that decision maker at a club for a minimum of 45 minutes to learn about their club, feel out their market. What does your 3-0 classes look like? What do your 3-0 open plays look like? What are you seeing on the court? What could they need? What would they value? And then every skill level up and above. Our pros, basically, we just talk to the club and say, all right, we're going to create an event for you. This is your event that we're going to supply an appearance for, but we're going to run it around you and your market. So I get to know them, learn about their, like, I said, their membership, their facilities, how all that works. And then we plan out a day. Do you want Zane Navratil for 8 hours? Okay, let's create a day worth of activity, a celebration Saturday or Sunday, or even a Tuesday, right? If you have a large enough member base that play on Tuesday, let's get him inside and have him do something fun. And because our pros are playing on the weekends. So, it can be 3 clinics and an exhibition event. If you have 5-0, 6-0 players around town that want to get out there and flex, and then you can invite the general public out that may not want to spend $150 on a 2-hour clinic themselves, but they want to see a pro in action on their home court. We did an exhibition here in Omaha with Mari Humberg, Cam Luring, Emma Nelson, an upcoming 15-year-old pro, and Matt Barlow, a 6'7" singles player here in Omaha. Took Fed to 3 games, and we put them on the court, and the crowd just loved it, right? Those are local town heroes to these people that really played strong against top pros, and they just love it. You can line people up to return Zane's chainsaw serve, and people can throw down a 20 to charity. We do 3 and Me's. We do women's only clinics if we have a female teacher. Lina Padijamet is an amazing female class teacher. She teaches kids clinics as well. She has a child of her own. She's really good at talking to kids. So each pro we bring on has something that's very unique to them. Jack Monroe will go out and do cartwheels for you if you want. Like these guys just want to have fun. Some of these pros want to teach. Some of these pros want to goof around and play. We've got options for any kind of, launch event, for anything that a club wants to do. Midwinter, you just want to spark something cool. Because as you and I know, right, the clubs are popping up and they're growing even at an exponential rate than I expected to see myself in at right now. They've come up fast, but now they're coming very fast. And to set that club apart from the other clubs apart in the market, that's what we can really do is create an event that they can focus on. They can advertise for a few months. They can build buzz. And then, even after the event, we supply all of our players with recap emails with detailed lists of all the drills that were covered, because I have taken a class and remembered that second drill that Zane taught where I stuck a ball under my arm to keep my arm close and learn how to hit the reaching dink correctly. But at the end of the clinic, I was so, focused on what I was doing and doing the drill well that I don't even remember what it is anymore. And going to a clinic is great. It's fun to play with these pros. It's cool to see how they talk and how they move about the game and how they think about the game. But the idea is to get better yourself, right? That's the major component to the clinic. And so if we don't supply that background information, how does that player then go forward and put that into practice and really, hone those skills? I think it was Ben that said, the difference between pros and amateurs is pros drill a shot until they can't miss, and amateurs drill a shot until they can hit it. So, I can hit a 2-E one time. That doesn't mean I have it in my bag. I just happen to stroke a great shot. But if you really grind and grind and grind and make it muscle memory, that's how you can improve your game and get to that elite level.
I love it. So I love the idea. If people are interested, they can just reach out to Pickleball Pros. You guys
Yeah.
got a website. You
Yep.
guys can set up a time to talk with them. I think it's
Yeah.
such a great idea because you're right. I mean, I think two things: new clubs, opening, grand opening, like get people to come to the club.
Yep.
But also, you're right. I mean, how do you outmarket the guy down the street? How do you set yourself apart? Devin Egan, Club Pickleball USA out in
Yep.
Orem,
Utah.
Utah. Fantastic guy, great business, and he welcomes all competition, right? Because he's just going to outmarket you. And so
Yeah.
all day long, I believe exactly what you said. So tell me, how'd you get into pickleball in the first place? How did this idea even
Ooh.
come up?
It was about 2020. Where are we at? 2022? Late
Right.
2022. I can tell you what year it is today. Yeah, probably 3, 4 years ago, I had played tennis, ping pong growing up. My father taught me all of these sports, and that's why I have such a personal attachment to this. Is I lost my father 8 years ago to poor health at the age of 62, and that's just too early. And I hadn't known about pickleball in 2018. Had I known, I would have been able to potentially get him off the couch, and we might be playing doubles together. And that, not only from a physical aspect to this story that he would have become better physically, but our relationship, I think, would have been just bulletproof. Not that it was shaky, but it could have just been something that I wouldn't have expected. And that is what has driven me to this business, to try and get those people off the couch. I see across LinkedIn constantly, whose job is it to foster these new players? And I believe we all have a role at certain points in their journey. And there are those that once they know of the sport and get to a club, all of our club owners there, now it's your job to take that newborn and help them grow, find their community and their people that they can latch onto and find lasting, long friendships like you and Jarrett. Um, that so my job is to get them to that point, is that I feel that they're already on the couch, they don't know the game exists. We got to get it on TV. And the only way to get it on TV is if the pro game gets bigger and pro game gets TV deals, and they're now we're getting on screen in front of the couch dwellers. That's where I want to take them, to just get them to the club. Once they get to the club, okay, you guys take it from here. You're the experts in that. But let me just get that first step and ball rolling. And I think that's what keeps me focused on this 100% of the time. But I came out of automotive advertising. I'm a recovering automotive advertiser for 20 years. And one of our clients opened up a pickleball club and asked us to market them. And we did. And this was probably 6 months into me knowing about pickleball, right? Probably the peak of your passion of pickleball is right about that 6 month window, in my opinion, before you start to really feel like, wow, I'm going to try to get good now, and then start losing. And you're like, oh, okay, this isn't as fun as it was day four. But because there's nothing as good as pickleball on day four.
Right.
But um, we took the idea that this passion can come forward and really drive this connection. And I saw that as an opportunity. And so I really dove in and helped that club grow and brought these people to the club to be the face of the club, to really help them launch, and felt like a part of something. And I was just every minute I was lit up inside, right? Taking your personal passion and getting to do it at work. That's rare. But what if you just turned your work into your personal passion, right? And take that step. Yes, it's hard. No, I haven't played pickleball in 3.5 weeks. Yes, I'm dying that I haven't played because I've been so focused on certain steps of this business. But I'm gonna get out there tomorrow. I've cleared the calendar. I have to, because that's why I started this whole thing in the first place.
Right.
Is being out there with those people. I miss my friends.
Yeah, of course. And you don't want to, slide off the track that you've made it, because we're all going to be a 5-0 one day, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know. All that work I did to get from 3.5 to 3.8 has been washed away now.
Oh, what do you think about those ratings? What do you think about pickleball ratings?
I That is a wild question. Just because you can go so many different ways. I love Duper in the fact in what they're trying to do. I
Mhm.
love the way that they will go public. They will get interviewed. They will talk their algorithm down, and they stand behind it. And you have to have that kind of conviction when they are in a very powerful position right now with the growth that they have made. Um, there are certainly other options, right? And other people that are coming up. I've heard of two, maybe three other attempts that are going to try to work alongside, or however they're going to go with Duper. I'm sure you've seen those as well. Um, we definitely have to have something I think the hardest part is I'm even thinking on a global scale, right? When we compare our players to those in other countries, we have no way to directly compare unless there is one set algorithm. Unless you're in a position where you're saying, all right, we're going to send our best, you're going to send your best, we're going to bring them all together. Your best is going to be your best no matter if they're a 3-5 or a 5-5. Our best is going to be, we have sixes here in the country, sevens. But that's where I see the one true algorithm being of value is that the entire globe then can operate on a similar standard. The tough part with having one single rating scale is you're never going to make anyone happy. You're never going to make everyone happy. You may make a very small portion happy, but even they will fluctuate, right? So
Yeah.
I applaud those groups that take that on and say, we're going to create this and we think we have a better way. And I would love to see the best way come out and win because I think it's just better for the sport.
Yeah, there's nothing like playing amongst your friends and then going to a tournament in a different state and another group of people and thinking, wow, I guess I am a 1.75.
Right, right, right.
I mean, it's so true. And I love the competition, but it's, you've played those players who obviously sandbag.
Yeah.
We've all beaten people 0-0, which is not fun either.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. Let's find the best one and let's everybody get on board and let's do it because it's more fun to play with people of a like rating, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I think that's one of the main draws to the game, period, right? Is that it does bring, I have friends that are 25 that I play with regularly and friends that are 65 that I play with regularly. We play together, right? That is our core group. It spans 40 years of age. And so that's one of the main draws to the game, period. And it's heightened when you make those skill levels, allowed to play each other and to keep out the noise of somebody way better or somebody way worse. Because like I said, nobody loves losing 0-0. Nobody loves winning 0-0. It's just, it's not the same game we came out to play.
So, my best ever pickleball memory is local club here in St. Augustine put on like an MLP event, and I was part of a team, and I got to win the Dream Breaker for my team. And I just remember what an incredible, night. I felt like a champion. Never was going to get a tour card, like anything like that.
Yep.
What is your single best pickleball memory?
Mine is actually more on a personal level. I've played in an MLP style event, and I can't agree with you more that is electric. And that's honestly why I love the MLP as a product itself, attending a few of those so far this year, this past couple of years. But my personal memory is more of that community where I was struggling in my Wednesday afternoon games with my 8 guys, those 25 to 65-year-olds. And it's just for multiple weeks felt like my team lost every game. And I'm like, all right, I'm starting to feel bad for my partner. I'm starting to feel bad for my opponents. And I went up to the director, right? Everybody's got a ringleader, a commissioner in their town. Our buddy Evan, I pulled him aside and just said, hey, I think I'm going to back out for a couple of weeks and just start drilling or something. I'm just not feeling right. I'm going to come back in a little bit. Just want to let you know. He's like, no. Like, oh, I didn't ask a question. And he's like, no, you don't get to. Like, the people in this group aren't here because of our shot selection and our skill sets, right? That's a part of it. We need to be similar levels, but you're here as one of the glue guys. Like you're part of the group. We like playing with you. You like playing with. That's why we do this, and that's rare for middle-aged men. One, to be aware that they're even feeling that way, let alone then expressing it to other said male. And so that is a moment that I won't ever forget. I can point to you where I was standing on the court in the facility at the time. And, I'll never shake that from my buddy Evan.
Well, my friend, thank you so much for spending time with me today.
Yeah.
I certainly am going to be thinking about having some pickleball pros out in St. Augustine in the future.
Come on. I'll be
All
down
right.
there.
Take care.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thanks for listening to this podcast. If you'd like to learn more about how CourtReserve became the go-to club management software for racquet and paddle sport clubs, come say hello over on our website. There's a link in the show notes.